Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of Building SimCity in a Browser, my little side project I've got going on. And in the last episode I said I would not be continuing this unless the visuals got majorly improved, and I don't know about you, but I think this is pretty decent. So let me run you through how I got to this stage, and spoiler alert, thank you Sonnet 5 from Claude. It's been a game changer. So, I'm super excited to show you. You may have just seen there in VS Code that Claude is currently working away. So this may all get reset as it continues doing some work. But we are getting some nice new buildings. And as soon as I saw the results of this, I knew, perfect, I can start recording my next video now because it actually kind of looks like a city now. Look at this. That's nice. This is light residential, medium residential, and dense residential. I believe it's currently still working on, residential 3x3s, and it's going to do one 4x4. This is so much better because if I show you now, this is what it looked like previously. This is using Pixie.js, which is totally new to me. If you didn't already know, I am not a front-end developer at all. Like, I can create websites, especially with this AI era that we're living in now. I can create pretty decent websites, but this was just not gonna do. Like, I could create the most perfect back-end, flawless game logic and all of that kind of stuff, but if it looked like that, I can't expect anyone to play this, let alone myself. I don't want to play this. But look at that, I might play this. Now, of course, we are building towards an MVP. So none of this is going to be perfect. None of this is going to be like release material. Maybe a few things are. I mean, these pools look okay. Claude just reset something. Yep, doing some new work. That's all good. But yeah, basically after my last video, I got to work with Claude in the web UI, the chat interface, and I just said, look, here's a picture of the buildings that we have currently, and it just ain't gonna work. Like, if it's looking like this, there is no way that I'm continuing this project. So I got it to explain to me a little more about what Pixie.js can do and what we can expect, because this, again, is going to be a project that is inside an Elixir Phoenix web application. Now, this is probably the first time that this has been tried, because you use that technology to build things like real-time dashboards and monitoring and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you can build Discord in Elixir, basically. But I really wanted to try this technology simply because it's my favorite, to be honest. And if I'm building a home side project that's going to take a lot of time and some money into it, I might as well build something in a technology I like, right? So we got to work with Claude, and we finally hammered out a building that I really liked. I told it, you need windows, it's a skyscraper, you need some height on all of that, not these tiny, crappy little blocks. So we got that done, and what I immediately did after that was tell Claude, now this was the Claude Copilot coding agent at this point. I told it, okay, what you just did, create a document like an MD file so that I can repeatedly build buildings like this over and over again, because in just a few requests it would have forgotten its own content, its context and all of that. So if I show you this, I've got this little docs bit building out. This is probably really small. That's too big. I've got this thing here called buildingplaybook.md. Here's a little MD file, and it's pretty lengthy, pretty substantial. But what this does is it allows Claude, like down here in my terminal, to read it, know the instructions, and repeatedly build over and over again. Now, today's a pretty cool day to be doing this, because Claude Sonnet 5 just came out, and currently this piece of work is happening using Sonnet 5, and if it works well, I'm going to be so happy, because I could build about 3-4 different buildings using Opus on my, I think it's like a $30 a month plan, and that would be it. I just max out my usage. I've got my usage right here, in fact. You can see right now we're on 50%. Now there's been some Opus being used in this, but right now we're using Sonnet 5 and the previous residential stuff that I showed you was using Sonnet 5. So it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. So if I can do all of that using Sonnet, that would be amazing. But anyway, I'm just yapping while Claude gets building. It looks like it's done all its 3x3. So let's see what it's built for tall commercial buildings. Anytime now. Hey, you know what? That doesn't look too bad. Alright, we got some floating shenanigans going on there. But you know what? For a not front-end developer, this isn't too bad. I think I definitely have to fix that green one. Now, I've told Claude to basically log what's going on. It's somewhere down here. The buildings checklist. Yeah, it should be logging what it's doing. Because I created this little checklist here just a few hours ago or so now, where I said, for the MVP, I want these lot sizes. You know, when you're playing a city simulator game, if you just zone like 10 square kilometers or whatever, there's got to be some logic to what's being built. I don't want to just do like drag and drop buildings. I want it to be quite dynamic. So imagine you're like building a road, it's got curves and everything, and all around that you're zoning these different like residential and commercial stuff. The game should intelligently know what to build given the size of the lot. So we've come up with this idea of a lot subdivision. This is another doc I created where basically there's like this recursive bit of logic where it sees like, a 9x9 residential lot just got zoned. Obviously at the start it starts on the very first tile, so it's just 1x1, so you would think immediately it would just bang, build a building there and then just do that for the rest. We've got this like lot subdivision logic now, so if you zone a 9x9 residential grid, it will go in and just try and intelligently fill that zone with different types of buildings, so it doesn't just look so boring, you know, like a big swath of the same buildings over and over again. It should all be different. And this logic is going to change a lot as well when we introduce the back-end game logic into it. Like, if you're zoning a very dense commercial building, for example, like a Sears Tower, some mega skyscraper, at the very beginning of your city, in this game it's going to start in the 1900s, it just isn't going to work, because why is a skyscraper going to be there, right? There should be some city simulator logic. So more like towards the 2000s, and if you got heavy foot traffic and your city's doing well, and then you zone a dense commercial tile, then the game should know, hey, there should probably be a skyscraper here. And maybe it knows like, oh, there's skyscrapers all around me, so maybe we're building some kind of like downtown district and all of that kind of stuff. So all of that's going to come later after the MVP. Again, this MVP right now, we're just going to try and create a basic workable version. It's always coming up with these weird commands that I've actually never seen before. BC. Seems like one that I should actually know. What's this doing here? Verify total generator count. Sure. Looks like we're almost done here. This took 20 minutes, but to be honest, like, I let it go. I went out for like 10 minutes, came back, and it asked for a command like a minute after I left it, which is annoying. Looking at the usage, we started this whole residential one at 39%, and now we're at 58%. I think that's pretty good, especially given that I was working through this checklist. I hate this multiple window stuff. Get out of here. Yeah, there we go. I was working through the checklist, and I think the first one I did using Sonnet 5 that we have now. This second one I did using Opus, just to see how big of a difference there was. And I noticed there isn't really that much of a difference, and this one's way more expensive, so I just said, hey, do the rest of this using Sonnet. It looks like we're almost done, so I'm about to show you guys what we got as soon as this thing's finished. See you in a bit. Let's go. Alright. So, light residential, medium residential, dense residential. Speed up the time, give it a road maybe. God, that road looks bad. I don't know what this is. I think thought about doing like bridges between skyscrapers. I do not like that. Alright, we're gonna have to fix that. But especially the light ones, I think look really good. These ones look okay. This one needs some work. We're gonna get back to Claude and tell it what a terrible job it's done. Now, I'm noticing something. This rotate tool is not working as it used to. You see how the buildings just don't actually change? Like, I believe if I do something like a coal power plant. Okay, that square is funny. There's gonna be so many bugs in this. If I rotate this. Oh. Okay, so the chimneys are facing away, and now they're on the left. This one's properly rotating. These ones are not. If I have to recreate the building again in the 3 other views, the dimensions, that's going to be a lot of work. But this is exactly why I want to do this now before we ship out an MVP or something. Get something ironed out and write down the reproducible steps so that all the buildings going forward, we can basically build a repeatable playbook. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try my best to fix all of this. A lot of this looks pretty bad. And then once the residential stuff is done, I'll come back to you. And then we're going to do all the commercial and the industry buildings, which I'm really looking forward to because I think they're probably the most interesting. You know, we're going to build factories and toxic waste chemical plants and all that cool fun stuff. So yeah, see you in a bit. Alright, so it's a couple days later and I can't really remember what I said last time. I think I said I was going to get back to you when I did the residential buildings. Well, I did quite a lot more than that with Claude. Right now it's working on building me a little windmill, a 1x1 power source, and I think that would be the last of all the power sources I need. This is probably way too small for you guys. Let me zoom in. Alright, so we got Claude working away here, and obviously because it's working right now, I'm expecting all this background, all the game to just change at any time, but basically here's some residential areas. Let's do dense over here. I think that looks pretty decent. This is our light. You can see we got like these tiny little houses. I remember there used to be a pool here somewhere. So there's still some variations that don't even show here, which I think is pretty cool. This is medium. We still got this kind of like blocky look, but here I think it's okay, right? These are just like little apartments. No swimming pool here. Maybe I'm remembering. This is a little bug here that I need to fix. For some reason, this little corner here constantly doesn't show up. I tried to get Claude to fix this, but I got very, very confused, and I'm having problems copying and pasting images into Claude at the moment for some reason. I can do it by taking a picture on my phone and using the remote Claude Connect thing. It's a pretty weird workaround, but yeah, this is pretty cool. There's also some logic in here where there aren't any dense 1x1 buildings. The smallest a dense building is 2x2. So what happens when you get these little 1x1 slots in between buildings, right? So I've added some logic to just use up some medium 1x1 buildings in basically as a placeholder. But yeah, that's residential. And let me just cut ahead to some commercial and industrial. Alright, so here's commercial and here's industrial. I think commercial needs a bit of love. I'm probably going to get back to this, and for some reason swimming pools are in commercial and not residential. Perhaps this is like a motel or something. Actually, I've got a query tool that should work. Yeah, motel lodge. Oh, motor lodge, motel, yeah. So we got light commercial here. Looks okay, I guess. I don't know what this is. Department store? Nah, this needs some work before we finish up. But yeah, here's some dense commercial. I think I want a little more love with this too. We got industrial. This is light. It looks pretty gritty. I don't know what these are supposed to be. Meat packing plants. And then this is heavy. Nah. Industrial needs a bit of love too, but it's so much better than what we had before, right? If you look at the first video compared to this, it's a miles and miles different. So what I've been working on for the past couple of days, and all this work has been like in between my actual work and studying for interview like practice. I hate leak code so much, man. I wish I was just doing this full time. But yeah, for the past couple of days I've been maxing out my usage and building these power plants because for some reason Claude really started to struggle with this. But as you can see, I think that coal power plant looks pretty damn good. Again, the previous video, maybe I'll put in a before and after here, but they are so different compared to how it is now. This is oil, this is gas, solar, nuclear. I don't like that. Why is it so thin? Again, with Claude, it's been struggling a little bit with this, so I'm getting the best I can. Microwave, fusion, and I wonder if it's finished the windmill now. That's what it's working on as we speak. That's pretty good, to be honest. Whoa, that's a behavior I don't want. But yeah, that's pretty good. So, in case you didn't see the previous video, this is kind of what everything else looked like. That's a water pump. That ain't a water pump. This is a tower. Okay, the little tower's there. This is a desalination plant. Plant. This is a water treatment plant. Yeah, these look terrible. So basically what I've been doing is building out these documents. I've had this building playbook, which is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I tell Claude to read this when I need to create some buildings. And with every building it creates, I tell it to create one of these architecture documents so that I can refer back, see what happened, so that in any time in the future we can go back to a specific document about a specific building and it will get the context of what it did again. And again, I'm not a front end or game designer or anything. I'm not one of those kind of guys. I'm a back end developer. I work more with systems and logic, business logic, that kind of stuff. Like, I can so easily send out an email, an SMS text when a customer signs up to your shopping platform or whatever. But creating a website or a game like this, I had no skills in. So given that, I've created all of this using AI. I think that's pretty damn cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to commercial, work on this because it ain't good enough. But yeah, I mean, like I said a few minutes ago, I think I said I'd be coming back after residential, and I just got a bit carried away and just basically did everything. And if we compare the first episode to what it is now, it's a completely different game, and you know, I'd actually play this right now. But yeah, all looks good. There are a few other things that we still need to do. Dude, I completely forgot. We did a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Here's a railway station. Oh, no, that's just a rail track. Here's a railway station. Ain't so bad. Airports actually were from before, and the seaports. I actually thought they were pretty decent and didn't need much work. Oh, that's an airport, whoops. Alright, maybe the airport needs a bit of love. Seaport, not too bad. And then there's one final bit we worked on, parks and playgrounds and stuff. Oh, and the service utilities. Alright, let me get back to you. Alright, so we have a little park, big park. I mean, these trees look kind of funky. This is a fountain, playground. I've just noticed here that the fence goes in the middle and not around the outside. It seems to me that this should be on the left and that should be on the right. Something to fix. This is a pond. A little Japanese, look, you can even see the little koi fish. Very nice. And then these are our service buildings. So we got the police station and the jail. You can see that AI Claude has tried to repeat itself to like probably save context and all that. These are pretty much the same building, and I don't like that. Police station, jail, fire station, hospital. Is this a school? Yeah, it is a school. Stephanville. I didn't realize this was called that. Stephanville. Okay. This is a college, and this is a library. So guys, we have our game. I even got a few hotkeys here, so I can place down roads. Obviously, this is in a sandbox mode, and everything's just building, and I have near infinite money. The actual game loop isn't there yet, but you see I've got power plants over here. I can get a pylon running between all these power plants, I guess. Now connect them up to the grid, come into my town. I'm amazed. I'm so happy. So I think I'll get back to you after we work on the industrial and commercial zones a little bit. Also, Fable came out in the middle of this, and I tried it out on, I think, building like one power plant, and it used up half my usage. So Claude Fable, very cool, but way too expensive. I've been using Sonnet 5, which just came out recently, for all of this, and it's been fantastic, and I've been able to basically use Claude all day long. Like, I've hit my usage pretty much all the time, but I give it a task, I forget about it, I come back to it a few minutes later, and then I build the next building. It's been great. So yeah, cheers everyone, and I will see you very soon when I do all the commercial and industrial stuff, and then that should be the end of this episode, I think. Alright, we got an update on the water plants. They're looking way better than they did before. We have a water pump here. There's overlapping textures there, that's a little bug, but it's alright. We got our water pipes here, that exists from before, and I actually quite like this, so I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. But here's the full water pump. You can see the chimney is going underneath this thing. Gonna have to fix that later on. I basically went into SimCity 3K and took some pictures, and I found this has produced way better results. I should have been doing this for everything. Before I was just like finding things online and linking it, or maybe even just saying, hey, it's a nuclear power plant, so just make one like that, assuming AI knows what a nuclear power plant looks like. Whereas if I give it a solid reference, that's a lot better. You can see here, this is what this used to look like. So I mean, from this to this is a win. Alright, now just a commercial and industrial, and I'm done, ready to edit this video and post. Can't wait. We have industry. This is looking way better. But we're having a little problem right now where buildings are clipping into each other, so we're currently working on that. Magic SRC. Yes, I'm sure I know what that means. Run that command. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. But yeah, as you can see, we got light industry over here, we got medium, and we got heavy. And I really like how distinctive heavy looks. I got all of this from basically giving it references. I went into SimCity, took screenshots, sent it to Claude. Finally figured out how to copy and paste into Claude, but I have to actually go to the source picture file in my screenshots folder and then drag it into it, and then it can finally see what I want. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting this clipping behavior, and if I remember correctly, we're getting this on all other types of buildings as well. So this is something that needs to get fixed. It needs to get fixed soon. This one looks alright. Although it doesn't look very medium, does it? Ah, there we go, clipping behavior as well. Again, this is stuff I'd have no idea how to fix, but working on that now. Hello. I've had a shave. I think we're pretty damn close to an MVP, version 1. If you think about how far we've come from, at the start of this episode, from where we were at the end of last episode to where we are now, it's a completely different game. Look at this. Now I know there are flaws, there are still flaws. Like this diagonal road. You wouldn't believe how much we struggle to get diagonal roads working at all, let alone perfect, so we'll come back to that. But I mean, look at this. I love it. Look at that power plant. I think we started off with power plants. And now look, it's just, I'm so happy about this. I'm chuffed. So yeah, I think I've achieved what I wanted to do in this episode. I was saying at the end of the last episode that I wouldn't be continuing this project unless I can make it look decent, and I think it's pretty damn decent. I think this is pretty acceptable for a browser-based full JavaScript game. You know, we're not using C++ here, we're not using any game engines, anything like that. This is all in the web. This is the same stuff that makes up a website. And here we are. But for now, I think this is pretty playable. I mean, I can just get in here, zone some industry, zone some commercial. You never actually design a city like this. Put houses right next to heavy smokestacks and all of that. That would never work. But yeah. I mean, this building's a bit ridiculous. I was getting quite frustrated with this like dense commercial. I was imagining like New York, you know, but these are so small. So I just told it, Claude 5, Sonnet 5, please give me an actual skyscraper. And I used a reference image of the Shard in London, and it gave me this. And this has been the key to this whole visual UI overhaul. I've just been spamming it with reference images. My screenshot folder is full of images that I took directly from SimCity and real life images. Like this one is Battersea Power Station in London as well. And that finally got it to understand what I was going after. It sounds obvious in hindsight, I should have done it earlier. But yeah, super happy. On to the next episode.